Right. Hello, everyone. This is Ajita from Nth Adventure, and I welcome you all for our third episode of Amplifying Adventure Season 1. And this episode is sponsored by Alag Adventures. Alag Adventures is a community group for all women where they conduct outdoor activities. So, as you all know, this episode has multiple segments where we will start with our guest, followed by we will have audience segment. After that, we're going to have a rapid fire round. Towards the end, we will have our giveaway segment. And the audience comment section will be off for now. It will be open towards the end. So let's get started. So today we have with us a software engineer turned full-time photographer and a documentary maker whose journey started with a social volunteering assignment which made him to explore different genres of photography which took the shape of a full-time career. He is the co-founder of Cedar Cones, guest lecturer in Top Institute of Filmmaking and Photography. He has worked with actress Vidya Balan, cricketer Irfan Pathan, women's cricketer all-rounder Jhulan Goswami, also worked on a campaign documentary for Alia Bhatt's NGO. His Instagram profile is flooded with stunning views of mountains and nature, which he's proud to call his home. Let's hear more about his passion, his creative side from the man himself. So let's welcome Mr. Ravi Waldia. Welcome, Ravi.
Thank you, Ajita. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. Thank you.
Welcome. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, enjoying the mountains. So, yeah, just lucky to be here during the lockdown. So, yeah, right place to be during this time. Yes, and how are you doing?
We can absolutely see that through your profile. Great, absolutely fine. But yeah, not close to mountains though. But everything is good. So let's just kickstart and learn more about your journey. You were like a software engineer, then you got into photography, and how everything started. Let's just tell us about your journey.
Okay, so I joined my first IT company back in 2007. So when I started my IT work after completing my engineering, there was no plan or no idea of doing it full time, photography thing full time. So right after I joined my first job, so I wanted to start photography because coming from the Himalayas, coming from the mountains, I always wanted to capture mountains. And I was very bad with drawing. So I couldn't think of the other option to capture mountains. So I knew I would be doing photography. This thing was in my mind. So I started saving some money, and within few months of my joining, I bought the first DSLR, a very basic one at that time. And those were not the days like I'm talking about back in 2008, 2007, 8, when photography was not one of the cool things. Like these days, it is very cool to own a DSLR. Those days, guitar used to be that thing. So my idea of getting into photography was I was very clear about it. It is just for the mountains. So you can even imagine during my first visit to my hometown, I didn't click a single picture of my parents or my family members. Everything I clicked was just the mountains. So because that was the only thing I knew, and that was the only thing I wanted to capture. And again, there was, as I said earlier, there was no idea of doing it full time or idea of doing it professionally. And then same time, another thing happened was one day sitting in Wipro, I was in Wipro that time. I was just flipping through a Wipro magazine where I found out about the philanthropic work of Mr. Premji, Azim Premji, and he was running Wipro Cares, was a volunteering unit of Wipro. So I joined Wipro Cares because I just wanted to contribute something or wanted to make an effort. Like, let's see how it goes. So I joined Wipro Cares. There a friend recommended me that I should join I Volunteer, because there is a lady called Prarthana who is very inspiring lady, a very inspiring social worker, and you can really learn many things from her. So Prarthana is our mutual friend. So once I visited I Volunteer, there I met Prarthana, there I met Saish, who is the co-founder of Nth Adventure, and so many other very inspiring set of people. And once I visited there was a different vibes in I Volunteer those days. I mean, they were all very enthusiastic people, very much into this with the right intention to make a change in the society. So I always had a lot to learn from these guys, and there was such a positive environment in I Volunteer that there was no effort I used to make to visit there during my weekends. And suddenly this volunteering thing kicked off, and then photography was running side by side, but I was not visiting. I was just visiting my hometown once a year or twice a year, so that was the only time I was doing photography. And then after 2 to 3 years, when my photography got little better, and I was just clicking mountains only. That time Prarthana, I Volunteer mentor, she suggested me, Ravi, now is the time you should go for skill based volunteering. And another problem with my volunteering thing was, I still regret that part. I could never learn Kannada. I'm never good with the languages. So I couldn't contribute much as a volunteer otherwise, because there was always a language barrier. So Prarthana suggested, why don't you try taking pictures, because there are lots of NGOs who are not financially good, but they need support. Because if you take good pictures, those pictures will be used in their brochure, or those can be used for their marketing or other purposes. So you will still be contributing towards a cause. So those days I identified NGOs which were working with kids, because only human beings I was comfortable with were kids, where I didn't mind taking photos. So I started taking photos of some of those NGOs which were working with kids. And then I think somewhere around 2011-12, one event happened, Colorathon, which was kind of open house art event where anyone could get in and start drawing. So people from all walks of life, like there were some street kids, there were kids from NGOs, there were people coming from the with families, there were policemen, and different people were coming in and they were participating in that event. And that day
Wow.
there were almost, I think, 7 to 10,000 people. I'm forgetting the exact number, who joined in
Wow.
that day. So and you know that those days I was a little bit shy and not that extrovert. So I was avoiding that event. I was just hoping Pratna doesn't call me up in the morning to go for the event. And then that events, the part of the earning was supposed to go to Om Ashram, one of the NGOs we were volunteering for.
Okay.
So that was a reason which pushed me a little that I should go, because it is for the right cause. So when I visited there, again, the same thing started to happen, which I was a little afraid of. I mean, because there were so many other photographers, some senior photographers were there. And what happened the moment I got into the event venue, a senior photographer comes in and asks, okay, which camera are you using? And then he looks at my basic camera and he just kind of sarcastically says, okay, acha, ye wala camera hai. And then another photographer comes, okay, why don't you take photo of that guy, see kitni achhi light aa rahi hai. And so all those unsolicited advice I started getting, and I was so conscious, I was just feeling like running away from there. But again, I just continued with the photos. But what happened was, I somehow got good photos, and by the end of the day, when I submitted the photos, next day, all the photos in social media, everywhere, they provided photos to the news channels, newspapers and all those photos were clicked by me. And suddenly I started getting calls from the event organizers, the sponsors of the events, and other NGO people, like, who were part of this complete circle. So they started calling me, and they started showing interest in my photography. And that was a very important event for me, because till that time I was not a confident person as a photographer. My skills were improving, but I was never confident that I could do it professionally, or I had never thought of it. So that was the first time when this thought of doing it professionally started coming to my mind, or when I started thinking, now I guess I can do it. So, and after that, freelancing work kicked in, and I started getting more assignments. And I think by the year 2014, I had started getting enough assignments, and that was the same year I also started a little bit of video. So this video documentary things started, and by the year 2018, I had also started taking classes. So I think it was 2018 when I decided now I should quit my job, because I have 2-3 things which I'm doing, and probably I can do it full time. So in 2018, I took that decision. So yeah, that was a almost 10-year long journey where I started as an engineer without intentions of switching, and ended up becoming a photographer. And yeah, another thing, in 2018, because I was volunteering very frequently with Prarthana and her new NGO Giftable, So Prarthana and Pratik, co-founders of Giftable, they offered me to join as one of the trustees in their organization. So that was very important thing which happened there. So I became one of the board members of Giftable also. And the same year, I quit my job and became full-time photographer.
Great, great, great. So in a way, the social volunteering aspect that those things pushed you to pursue your dream, you follow your passion, and you took a decision.
Seriously. Yes, yes. And I still remember those days, Prarthana used to say, in this social work or in this volunteering, I mean, you will receive more than you give. And sometimes I wonder what were my contributions as a volunteer, because I don't remember anything too significant. But I always feel what I received back, I mean, more than anything, the self awareness of what I can do. And even my teaching thing started because of I started teaching for fundraising events for NGOs. So that way, even my photography teaching thing started. My photography started because of all these things. So everything I'm doing right now is all thanks to the work which I did for the NGOs during last 10 years.
Great, great. That's so amazing that how your journey started. It's really, really great. Now, as you said, you started from social volunteering and then you did work for some corporates and all. So over the period, there are certain skills and certifications you might have felt that a person has to possess, a photographer has to possess.
Right,
So
right.
according to you, what do you think are certifications and skills required to be a recognized photographer?
See, when I started, I was always confused, like, should I go for a certification? Should I go for a college? And I was always in two minds. And at the same time, I started working on my skills. So one very important advice I had got during the way was someone had told me, if you work on your skills, that is good enough. Because in the creative field, you don't necessarily need a certificate. As long as you're working on your skills properly, you are in the right path. And luckily for me, it worked. So if you ask me a general suggestion whether going for certification is important or self-learning is important, I'll say both ways. It depends on you. If you and some other factors, like suppose you join a college, there you get a good faculty member, you get a good mentor, and you
Right,
get good labs, you get right opportunities. So these things actually
right.
help a great deal. And on the self-learning part, there are some harder things. Like for an example, when you do self-learning, the toughest part is there is no one to point out if you're doing something
Right.
wrong.
Yeah.
Like there were certain mistakes which I had been doing continuously year after year, but there was no one to tell me. And I was thinking there is nothing wrong. So it takes longer. But if you really feel you are disciplined and if you are willing to spend time on your skill, I think self-learning is a good way because you can save money. And in photography, you need a lot of money for your equipments and all. But it worked for me, but it depends. Like I teach in a
Okay.
college and keep meeting different students, and I see the way they are learning in college. That is also amazing because in college you are with a company of different students, so you know how other peers are doing. You know how other people are doing around you. So that is also an important thing.
Right, right, absolutely. Now, since as you mentioned that learning and you also teach people, you teach students. So, what are
Right.
the key skills you feel that a photographer must learn, or they should possess, or they should explore? What are some of the key skills?
Okay.
Just let us
One
know about
one
that.
one thing, Ajita, because it's raining heavily right now, so you can hear some noise. So sorry for that because
Okay,
it's raining
no
really
problem.
heavily right now. So yeah.
Okay,
So talking about skills, so I always feel there are two types of skills. One set of skills are technical skills. So technical
okay,
skills are like how you handle your camera. There are different settings in camera. The technicalities like shutter speed, ISO, aperture, different things people talk about. Those things. Your
absolutely,
understanding
yeah,
of lighting, your understanding of composition, your understanding of color theory. How
yeah,
do you
yeah.
communicate a story through visuals? Those things are really important. But at the same time, there are other set of skills that you need to develop. Like I would say time management. Say for an example, if you're
Hmm.
working for a corporate and you don't deliver the assignment within the timeline, you won't be getting the work again. You won't be ever getting the work again if you don't stick to the
True.
timelines when it comes to the corporates.
Hmm.
Similarly, you need to learn lot many things which are related to the subject. Say for an example, someone wants to get into wildlife photography. but that person can't differentiate between two different species of the bird. That person doesn't know which part of some current area, how many types of birds are there, and if you are going for a travel, what are the different geographical conditions. Similarly, if you are a documentary photographer, you should, suppose you are working for an NGO, you should be knowing how you should be handling a particular situation. Suppose you are meeting a family which just faced some disaster. There are certain guidelines, there are certain ethics, certain etiquettes which you need to follow. So those things you need to keep in mind. Similarly, like landscape photography, people think it's quite easy. But suppose I'm a landscape photographer from Uttarakhand and I don't know about the different mountain peaks which I can see. I don't know about what time sun rises, what time a particular star I can see in the sky. So my skill as a landscape photographer won't be that much. Uh, I mean, I won't be able to do just with the photography skills. So there are other skills also which I need to gain in order to, in order to, in order to be really competent as a photographer. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so true. Even in every profession, now we know in photography itself, the person has to have certain kind of skills.
Right.
And now, as you mentioned, like the skills which we are talking about and certifications, you feel that India is in India we have such avenues, we have people, and we have such training platforms where people can go and learn.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, there are many institutes. Some really good colleges are there. There are some institutes which just provide short-term certification courses, and list is long. I mean, and if someone is really interested in knowing the things, I won't be taking names right now, but you can ping me personally, and I can guide you regarding different colleges based on your location. Like suppose you are in Bangalore, there are some good colleges in Bangalore. In Delhi, there are different set of colleges. So this way, there are different colleges present in different areas. So yes, there are definitely
Okay.
enough opportunities, and also with the advent of this internet thing, there is so much of information present in internet. If you can just find the right course which is present online, you have enough opportunities present in internet also.
Great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. People, those who want to pursue, so they would definitely want to explore and learn more about photography and movie making. So now when we talk about, and this from last year to this year, there's so many things have happened. And
Yeah.
how do you, according to you, what's the perspective? Like, what do you feel a scope for photography as a career for people, those who want to pursue it further? What do
Okay.
you
Okay.
think the scope of photography
See,
as
there
a
are
career?
enough areas. First of all, a person needs to be aware of what kind of photography he or she wants to do. For an example, if you are interested in photojournalism, there are enough opportunities. There are enough newspapers, there are enough media channels who are covering different global or local events. Then if you want to cover sports, there is a different types of skills you need. Similarly, as a documentary photographers, there are so many stories to tell from India. You want to cover NGOs, there are different stories. If you are into fashion industry, there are enough opportunities. You can also do product photography. So that this way, I feel there are too many opportunities. I mean, there are enough opportunities in different fields. Main thing a person needs to be aware of is what kind of photography he or she wants to do, what attracts them, and uh, do their skills allow them to be good enough in that field. And you need to work on your
Okay.
skills accordingly. And one more thing I feel is like, other than the different genres of photography, one thing which I always follow is like, I tell my students, you identify two different areas. So like one skill could be something that you love, but maybe you might not be getting enough money in that skill. Maybe say for example, for me, that is landscape photography. Landscape photography doesn't give me enough money. So only thing I earn from landscape is by selling my photos in stock photography platforms. But other than that, so that's why I do other kind of things. Like I do little bit of portfolios. I do stuff for the corporates. I do stuff for the startups, their office spaces, their events, different things I capture. So you always need to find alternate skills. And like for me, like my focus is in documentary. So once till the time my documentary things start doing really well, I need to rely on other skills which are giving me money.
All right. Yes,
Yeah.
that's well said, Ravi. Now,
Yes.
okay. So now, and I was just telling, like you've been into two lockdowns. So how
Right.
was your lockdown for your profession? You were into
Ah,
corporates, you were doing outdoor activities. So how was
right.
this lockdown period for you?
See, it started off on a bad note because 2019 we started our company Cedar Cones. I started it with one of my friends, Manish, and right after we started it, so our initial focus was in Delhi. So I moved to Delhi in 2020 early, and then we had actually got some good assignments. Like we were doing stuff for Nike, and then we had done really good photo shoot for Ford Motors, and then I also, when it comes to the teaching opportunities, I got this opportunity in the college in Noida. And so all these things had kicked off well. So we were really excited, like that our work is ready to take off. But right then, this lockdown thing, this Corona thing happened. And suddenly, for the next 3 or 4 months, we had no work at all. And we were in Delhi because there I was paying rent for my office, and all those things were really putting a toll on us. And I remember just being inside the house, I was even losing this creative thing. I was not getting creative ideas. And then in June 2020, I decided to come to my hometown. And suddenly, when I came here, I was in between the nature, and also it started giving me positive results. So then I decided, like, now in my home, at least my expenses are less, so I'll utilize this time to do something better. So I suddenly started utilizing this time for learning some online things. So there are some really good workshops online regarding photography. I started learning those things, and then I started reading a lot. So I read more books than ever before during the last lockdown. I started walking a lot. So I started going for morning walks, long walks. So I think during last 1 year, I walked more than ever before, more consistently, I must say. So I feel when I started doing all these things, which held me personally, like my work was not doing that well. Only thing which were running were my online workshops. So all these things which where I invested on myself, that thing really helped me.
Great, great. That's amazing. And to our audience, I just want to tell, as Ravi mentioned, that he daily used to walk. So just to
Mhm.
add that, daily he used to see the mountain ranges, the view of Nanda Devi, just 2 or 3 kilometers walk. All the mountain
Mhm.
ranges from like India to Nepal, he can just in a walk he can see those. So yeah, that's the place. That's his hometown. That's a perfect
Yeah,
place to get locked down.
right, right. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so now moving on, as you mentioned, like
Mhm.
you into documentary making as well. So just
Mhm.
tell us about the need of documentary makers in India.
Well, I think there is a big need because see, India is a country where there are too many stories, and like you talk about culture, there are different cultures, there are different issues, there are different social issues, there are different political issues, there are different stories, there are people who are rich, there are people who are poor, there. So everyone has a story, and in documentary, the essence of documentary is to present the story of a person, present a story of a particular situation in the best way possible you can. And I think India offers, I think, I don't know if any other country offers these many opportunities for a documentary maker. So if you really love telling stories, really, I mean, in a non-fictional way, I'm not talking about short films and other things. So that's a different creative area. I mean, if you want to tell non-fictional stories or editorial stories, which we call. So for that, I think there are enough opportunities in India. You just need to look around. You just need to find a way to tell stories around those.
Great, great. So
Yes.
just tell us a bit about the campaign, the documentary campaign you worked for Alia Bhatt's NGO. Just tell us a
Okay.
bit about that. What was that
Uh,
campaign
so
about?
So I was volunteering with an NGO called Litter of Light with Pankaj sir in Bangalore. So
Okay.
Alia Bhatt has her own NGO called Coexist, and she works with animals and different environment related things. So they offered, like, they decided to partner with Litter of Light for a particular event. I shouldn't say event, actually. It was for electrification of a slum near Kikeri. So Kikeri is a small village near Mandya district in Karnataka. So they wanted to
Okay.
electrify the whole village, and Litter of Light generally installs solar lights there. So the for this particular campaign, we just said I think 5 or 6 hours. So as the Litter of Light team was installing lights there, so my work was to capture to all whatever was happening there, to create a documentary and to shoot pictures. So eventually, though, that documentary is still available in Alia Bhatt's channel. So you can just search "Litter of Light" in Alia Bhatt's channel, and you can find the documentary. Yeah. So it was actually a campaign video for this electrification or the light installation in that village in Kikeri. Yeah.
Nice, nice, great. And then there's a recent trailer you have launched about your recent work. There's a
Right.
documentary on Pithoragarh. So just tell us
Right.
about that, what that documentary is
Okay.
about, and when it is going to get launched.
So this documentary we are doing as Cedar Cones. It is produced by our own startup Cedar Cones. So this assignment we got from the local district administration, where they wanted us to capture the whole things which district administration was doing. I mean, how district administration was controlling COVID in our Pithoragarh district. So when we actually started this assignment, we were a little skeptic because see, you need to because in such documentaries you just cover one side of the story from the administration, but actually we were given freedom and we visited different villages, we covered different activities, so it was really good experience. And finally, we feel the documentary has come up really well. So we are just waiting for them to give us the green signal to launch the documentary, and we are hoping in next 2 to 3 days it will be launched. It will be released.
Great,
Yes.
great. We really look forward to that. We just look forward to that complete launch of the documentary because the trailer looks really amazing behind the scene.
Thank you.
Because we all have gone through that stage and we know that the essence would have been captured in very detailed manner, not what we see in the news and other articles. So
I
we'll just
hope
hope for
that
that. Great. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you so much. So with this, our guest segment ends. Now we move on to our second segment, which is audience segment. So there are a few questions for you, Ravi. So this segment is all about that. You have to pick a number, which question number you would like to answer. You can pick four
Okay.
questions, and
Okay.
you have to answer those. I'll just read out those questions to you. You can just pick a number from 1 to 6.
Okay. Okay. So first number 3.
Number 3. Okay, so you have who inspired you to get into the photography?
I would say mountains because that was the on I bought my first camera. And
Okay.
if not for mountains, I think I wouldn't have started it.
Okay, great. Next question, your pick.
Okay. Okay. Number 6.
Number 6. What has been the most challenging photograph captured by you, and why was it challenging?
Most challenging. Okay, this is a tough question because I never thought of it. Yeah, could be. I think I would say it's like one of the most beautiful experiences I had last year, and this was tough
Okay.
in a way. So last year we went on a trip. So there is a place called Khalia Top, which is in Munshari
Okay.
town, like in Pithoragarh district.
Okay.
So we trekked for
Okay.
almost 3 to 4 hours to reach at an altitude of 13,000 feet. In fact, we were struggling. I mean, we with our camera gear, and also our plan was just to reach at the top to capture the sunset and how the Panchachuli peaks look during the sunset. But the moment we reached there and we started getting down, suddenly my friend asked me to look at front, and moon was rising just behind the Panchachuli, and it was a full moon of
Wow.
31st October. I think it was Sharad Purnima. So it was there was something special about that moon. I forgot. Like they call no blue moon and this and that. So there was something about that moon.
Okay.
It was really a beautiful sight. And what happened is like most. I must say this was the most divine sight I ever saw. I mean, I was completely at awe. I mean, I didn't know how to express it. And that time I just took my camera out. I took few photos, and it happens rarely that I just give up. And that day I gave up. I just told my friend like, I think this is so beautiful. I can never capture the essence of this beauty. So I think that was challenging because that time I decided I should rather enjoy the sight than making an effort. But eventually the picture came good. So, but this was one of the tough photos, one of those tough photos.
Wow, wow. Great. Okay, next question, your pick.
Okay. Number one.
With which celebrity you enjoyed shooting the most?
See, uh, I met three celebrities, but the first one was uh, Vidya Balan. So I guess that time I was really conscious, and it was the first time I was shooting a celebrity. So I think I would say that because I also enjoyed with Irfan and Jhul, same thing. So for with Irfan, I was more confident, though I enjoyed it. But yeah, I would say Vidya Balan because this was the first time I was meeting a celebrity, and I was so conscious that I didn't know how to react. So that was the moment.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. Pick.
Number four.
Number 4. Okay. Which all cameras you hold currently and which one is your favorite?
Okay. So see, currently I hold three cameras: Nikon D850, Nikon D610, and a GoPro Hero 4. But see, obviously, because D850 is the recent one, and this is the one which I use for videos, which has better video capabilities. So I would say that. I mean, I don't, and that's the recent one. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ravi. I hope our audience have got answers to their questions. With this, our audience segment ends. Now we move on to our next segment, Rapid Fire Round. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm scared.
You don't have to be because I know
Okay.
you will do this well. Okay, so you
Okay.
have as soon as possible, as early, as fast as possible, you need to answer these questions.
That's the tough part, no? Okay.
So
Yeah.
let's see how you play. Let's see. So just bring
Mhm.
your best game.
Okay.
Okay, so your first question is whose work has influenced you the most?
See, there is not one photographer. See, I always believe in this thing. Like you, there are so many people who are doing great job. So you can't be inspired from just one photographer. Like for example, there is this guy called Jimmy Chin whose mountain photographies I really admire his documentaries and his work in that area. Similarly, there are people like Stephen McCurry. His photos of India are amazing. There are so many photographers in India, outside India, whose work. So there is not one person. So in fact, I'm lucky to be born in the era of social media. Whoever good photographer I find, I just follow him and try to learn. So not just one guy.
Great, nice. Second question: what is that one thing you wish you knew when you started photography?
Okay, this is a good question. In fact, I didn't think of it. So one thing, I guess, one thing I knew was I wish I knew the limitations. I mean, that time there was no one to tell me like I'm doing a particular thing wrong. So I was able to identify my mistakes earlier because initial 4 years my learning was little slow.
Okay, great. Next, which was your best social volunteer photography assignment?
My best social volunteering, I think, the assignments with Giftable Foundations, where I visited northern Karnataka, the areas which are badly impacted by disability. Like my first visit was to Koppal, my second visit was to Bagalkot recently. I think all these, because I'm very close to the cause of disability, this is the area where I volunteer the most, and these were the most eye-opening, uh, I won't say assignments, but field trips for me. So I clicked photos there, but this was one area where I felt like there are so many things which I don't know about in the area where I'm trying to volunteer and where I'm trying to make a difference. And I think those were the most hard hitting causes or hard hitting places, I would say.
Okay, all right. Next question: which is your favorite shot till date?
Oh no, again there is no one shot. I mean, if you
You
can
have to
ask.
name one shot. The other shots will get angry, upset, but yeah, you have to name one.
Okay, so the first shot I'll tell you then. The first shot which made me feel really good. The first time. So there is a photo of three birds, I think jungle babblers, like three birds right next to each other. So that was my first photo
Oh, yeah, they are quite.
which made me feel really good, like I took a good photo. I think that was the one.
I remember that shot. That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, I shared that. I showed off that shot so many times on different social media platforms.
Okay, next question. What would you choose among these options?
Mhm.
Nikon or Canon or Sony?
See, first of all, if I say something, this will be a sin because I always teach my students like don't stick to the camera. I mean, whichever camera you have. See, I know in the current date, if I talk about technically, Nikon lacks the most. The current
Okay.
day, the modern generation cameras like Sony
Mhm.
and Canon have amazing features, far better features than Nikon. But I'm a Nikon user, so
Okay.
I don't know how to choose. But uh, see, it I would always like what I tell my kids, like don't focus on the camera, always focus on your skills. So like whichever camera you have, you can make the most out of it.
But you have to pick one here.
See, so then I'll pick my own camera, Nikon. No,
Okay.
I was giving a politically correct answer as a teacher. I don't.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah.
Next question. Mountains, beaches, or forest?
Mountains like any day because that is my home. Though
Pahari
beaches,
boy. Yeah. Beaches
beaches
boy.
come quite close, but yeah, nothing can beat mountains. Yeah,
Okay. Bangalore, Delhi, or Pithoragarh?
but this is not a good question. You can't see if you had given the option of Pithoragarh, I would have said Bangalore without thinking, without giving it a second thought. But now Pithoragarh, see how can I go against my hometown? No,
Bangalore will remember this.
no. I love Bangalore.
Next, product shoot with Apple,
Hmm.
photo shoot with Alia Bhatt, or movie with Amitabh Bachchan.
Okay, I think movie. I mean, movie with any person. I mean, someday if I am that much skilled that I can make a movie, I think that would be amazing. Even if it is with a smaller actor, I would love that.
Great, great. Okay. Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh, celebrity crush. I mean, there is no one actually. But okay. I'm just thinking there is no photographer I have a crush on. I think maybe I think I would talk about a cricketer then. I think Smriti Mandana is good. I think I should have a crush on her. Yeah, as a
Oh,
cricket
nice.
lover. Yeah,
I'm gonna send this clip to her now.
yeah. Please do that.
Okay. Have you ever caught any awkward moment through your lens?
No, it happens a lot many times.
Of course,
I would
photographers do that.
okay. There was one incident. Won't tell you when and where. I was
Okay.
shooting a social cause where we wanted to show how policemen are working, helping people and all. And I was taking a wide shot, and suddenly I find myself recording a policeman running in one corner and hitting a dog like a football. So I had to edit that out, but that would have been amazing behind the scene shot and really
True,
awkward
true,
one.
true. Yeah, I know that that makes your job even tougher. That's why photographers are for editing
Yes.
everything.
No,
Yeah.
but see, sometimes I feel I can show those candid moments because people need to see. But in that assignment, due to some limitations, I couldn't.
Yeah. Agree. Next question. Have you ever tried doing something you are really bad at? And what was it?
Yes. I think the first time I started photography, I did all these event photographies and all. I was really bad at it. Only thing I could click was nature. So once I was pushed by Prarthana during those social work days, like click the NGOs and all, I was actually bad at it. And in fact,
Okay,
any
okay,
assignment when I did for the first time, I think I was not that good. Yeah.
okay. Next, your most favorite dish from Pahadi?
I thought you would ask from Bangalore. Come on.
ठीक है, Bangalore भी बता दो.
Okay. So from Pahad, I think so the local Rajma Chawal, I think I love that. The Pahad ka Rajma and that with Chawal, I love that.
And what's your favorite Bangalore?
I don't love too many Pahadi dishes otherwise in general, but that is one thing which I
Okay,
love. Hmm.
okay. And what's your favorite Bangalore dish?
See, masala dosa. There is no doubt about that. any variety of dosa. I just still crave for that. I'm just waiting to be in Bangalore and have my favorite masala dosa.
Great, great. Okay. What is that annoys you the most from any photographers?
Uh, what annoys me the most from the photographers? Okay. I think one thing is when photographer, one thing as a beginner, which annoyed me the most was when the photographers used to show off their gears. And nowadays also when many photographers judge other photographers or especially the beginners from with their lenses with the I mean or with the camera gears. One thing is that, and secondly, when photographers, there are many photographers who are manipulating. I mean, editing, I'm not against editing. Editing plays an important role, but when they cross the limits of ethics in editing and don't mention it in the comments, because what happens is, because I know a lot of students who just try to learn from seeing other people's work, and when they see that work and when they see those photos, they always get that impression is like, how did this guy click this photo, मुझसे तो नहीं हो पा रही है ये. So it gives a wrong impression. I mean, as a teacher, I always feel there should be transparency, so that any photographer should follow those. Like, even if you have done some manipulation, it's good enough, but just talk about it so that you don't mislead a beginner photographer.
Okay, got it. Okay, the next question is, what is your worst fear?
My worst fear, it is like if I'm editing something important and my laptop stops working and there is a deadline. So that is my worst fear, always.
Okay. Next question, what would you do if you were invisible?
I don't know. This is not a useful skill for a photographer. Yeah, one thing could be, and I just thought maybe I would just go work as a photojournalist. Then I can go to any places. I can cover all these, do these sting operations with all these netas, all these. I can go to the war zones and click those amazing images. Yeah, that will be awesome. Just now I
Nice.
thought,
Okay.
yeah, that could be amazing.
Now, yeah, complete the sentence. I will give up photography only when dash.
Only when I die.
Oh. Nice. Okay, one superstition you are guilty of believing.
There's too many. No, I'm not sure what to talk about. There could be many. I'm not getting which one, but I know there are. No, I'm not getting any superstition. Just talk about few, no, which are the superstitions I could believe in. No, I'm not sure. Yes.
नीला कपड़ा पहन के
नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Actually,
something will happen.
No, nothing like that. Yeah, not superstition, but there are some stupid things which I do. Like, I keep checking my camera bag, even like I check it at home, I check it at previous night, I check it even when I'm entering my car, even when I'm reaching the shoot site. I have this habit of opening my zip and seeing if everything is there, like 100 times. So I think that could be a superstition.
Okay, fine. Then the last question. One place you would love to travel only for shoot.
Where I would love to travel only for shoot. I think there are two such places. I think one similar question someone had asked me in Insta question sessions. So I had answered the same thing. I would want to do two road trips. One is India, north to south, east to west, complete India. I mean, where I won't be doing anything else, just the photography. And similar trip in Europe, a road trip in Europe and road trip in India. I think that would be amazing.
Great. So we will look forward to more images when you get a chance to do that.
I hope so. Yeah.
That's it. So here the rapid fire round ends. Thank you, Ravi, for being such a sport. We got to know a lot of answers.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ajita.
Now moving on to our next segment, audience giveaway segment. So as you know, the audience segments, the questions are pre-asked before the episode, and our guest picks certain questions which he want to answer. Out of those answered questions, one of the number you have to pick. So that person is our lucky winner of today's episode.
Okay. Okay.
So you it's your pick. You have to choose a number.
Okay. Number 3.
Number 3. Okay, I have sits with me. Let's see who's that winner is. Okay, number 3. Okay, we have a winner. And winner is Prarthna.
Oh, Prarthana. See, we talked so much about her. She shouldn't be given this award now. We already talked about, we mentioned her too many times in this episode. So,
Okay, so just to tell our viewers, Prarthana is winning one-day all-paid hiking trip from Alag Adventures.
Oh, wow.
Alag Adventures is our this episode sponsor. Yay! Congratulations,
oh,
Prarthana.
okay. And one more thing, because yeah, Prarthana is the same person. I should tell the audience who forced me to do those assignments, which made me the photographer. So in a way, I think it's an appropriate thing. Let's see on
Yeah,
this.
yeah. So for Prarthana's all the effort, she's getting rewarded now.
Yeah, I know.
Great. Okay, so with this, this episode ends. So thank you, Ravi, for joining us and sharing your views. We can't wait to see your upcoming documentaries and other projects. So before we sign off, any message would you like to give us to our audience?
First of all, thank you, Ajita, for having me here. It was really nice talking to you. And then talking about the message, I think to the freshers, I would say, first of all, choose what you love to shoot and be yourself. I mean, the current day problem, which I feel when I talk to my students, when I talk to the different people attending my workshops, is too many young people are like obsessed with 2 things only, either their camera and the second thing is editing. But actual photography is far different from all these things. I mean, there are different aspects of photography. There are storytellings and all. So work on yourself, work on your skill, and don't just be obsessed with the camera gear. There are people who are taking good photos even from the ordinary cameras and even without proper hi-fi editing. So just work on your skill, be honest. And also one more thing, don't get into the trap of this trends in social media. The sad part right now is like earlier days, social media was dedicated to photography to some extent. Nowadays, social media is all about trends. I mean, if you're not following trends, I think you won't be getting likes, you won't be getting more followers. But if you get in that trap, I think you won't be working on your photography side. So what I would say is just identify what areas you want to work on your photography, follow the right people in social media, and I think you'll be doing get better soon.
Great. That's a great message. So all the people watching us and all the budding photographers. So that's a message from Ravi Waldia, today's episode's guest. So thank you, Ravi, so much for joining us. And we wish you all the very best to you and to your upcoming project. And I want to thank all our viewers for joining us this evening. So with this, our episode 3 ends. And I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. I'm going to see you next week with our new guest, same day, same time. And this is Ajita signing off from Nth Adventure. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you so much, Ajita. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.